this, but it's fine if it doesn't. We just won't say anything we can't say. I wonder how long it'll take our little bots in Discord to tell people.
Oh, yeah, I haven't looked for it. I've been running
Well, I
I've
just
been
got the one in
using
yours.
I've been using what's it called? I've got the YouTube sub notifications on yours. I've been using the focus on my phone,
I literally just discovered that exists. So
but all it does is silence Discord.
oh
It
really?
doesn't.
That's
It basically doesn't turn anything else off except Discord. But I realize, like, because like, that's pretty much the thing I get the most noise from.
that
Discord and like
tracks.
one group chat I'm in.
That tracks. That totally tracks. I have so much noise on my phone. Hey y'all, we're gonna get started soon. I know audio is working because Michael Krause has told us.
Yeah.
I need to get the link. I need to change my YouTube bot. I need a different one.
Jedi Jingle Maker. Oh, away from Dino.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I use Zapier. I don't use Dino.
Oh, right, right, right.
And Zapier, or Zapier, whatever it is just kind of eh. Um, it's been real. I don't know. It's been real spotty lately.
Does this include paid promotion? I feel like it doesn't.
I don't think so.
I mean, there's an argument to be made that technically everything is paid promotion.
I mean, you're
Like
not
you've
wrong.
did you get a I mean, maybe this isn't too much of a question. Did you get like a artist discount or anything from Barry?
Yes.
Where you paying? Yeah, so technically, uh,
Well, I mean, like, I have several things here that like I got deals on, right? Well, okay, no, that guitar I paid. I bought that used. Did not
okay.
get
I
any discount.
I need I need to put monetization. I wanted to turn monetization on, but then I think if it's on, it's going to run ads during the stream, which I don't want.
I gotcha. I'm going
I'll change
to.
that later.
I'm gonna manually send this into Discord. So, and then we're gonna get started because I think we're all. I haven't
You have
even looking
50.
at.
You have 52 seconds.
Oh, I got plenty of time. Good. Um, because I've already copied it.
Jedi Jingle Maker. Let's check this channel out. Very cool. Little bunch of little shorts. Not shorts, but like little audio songs.
Let's close Discord so it doesn't make all of the noises. I know y'all absolutely love this like countdown clock. Um, Let me go back
I,
to the page I was on. There we go. Because
one
that
of the
page is
reasons
important.
that I don't push myself to film is because literally I think I want to become the worst guitarist on YouTube the moment I publish, but
Okay.
it'd be really close
Why?
because I'm not good.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Now I
that's,
need to
that's
get
my
out of
thoughts on that.
this. So it's not switching back, Steve.
You broke it.
I
I have
did.
seen Sister Rose asks, and maybe is this a topic you know anything about? Sister Rose asks, have you guys seen the thing with Roy Gallagher's guitar?
No.
You haven't. So there's so we can talk about there's a
Oh,
topic we
look,
can
there's
talk
two
about.
of me. There we go.
It just started it all over.
Yeah, it did. Weird. All right, so let's go. Hey guys, happy Sunday. We're live streaming. I know you've just been listening to us chat behind the What's up, Frank? Also, I'm from
Oh, okay.
Mississippi. Look at that. More Mississippi folks. All right. Um all right, we're going to jump right in here. Have you guys seen the thing with Roy Gallagher's guitar?
So Ryan and I are going to talk about this on
Well,
tomorrow's episode.
well, tough. We're going
Uh,
to talk about it
no,
now.
we'll talk about it. No, no, no. It's fine. It's fine because I think this would be good with you. Um, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a share. Um,
Yep.
and so basically, I don't. Is this the same one? This is a different one. Let me find the one. Is this the one? Okay, this is the bigger one. This is the one. So
Whoa.
there's two of them running. They're trying to bring Rory Gallagher's famous Stratocaster back to Cork. So let me ask this question first. How familiar are you with with Rory Gallagher? Because I'm like,
I'm extremely familiar with Roy
you're
Gallagher.
extremely familiar. Okay, because
Yeah.
Ryan had never, I don't think Ryan had ever even heard of him. I've
Oh,
heard of him, but I'd never really listened to any of his music.
no, I've
Um,
covered Rory Gallagher, and
but like,
I love his music. But he
yeah,
speaks to me as a blues player, Strat into an AC-30. I
right,
mean,
right. So it's one of those things where for me, as like a instrument junkie, like, and not a player per se, right? But
sure.
as a, or as a music listener, but as a, of, looking at pictures and catalogs guy, I know who Roy Gallagher is, right?
Okay.
So basically, this is being organized by Sheena. I'm assuming it's Crowley, who is the daughter of the person who. So there's a music store, Crowley's Music. She's the daughter of the man who sold this guitar to Roy Gallagher. Another fun thing I read in the story is that apparently the legend, I don't know if it's a legend, maybe it's 100% proven, is that this Stratocaster was the first Irish Stratocaster. So it's the first one to be shipped to Ireland from Fender,
Oh.
and that basically it was sent to this store, and the guy who got it, who had ordered it, they got it in there, and he was like, "I wanted red," so it just sat on the shelf. Apparently, just sat on the shelf for a couple years, and then Rory Gallagher bought it for £100. Now this is a 1963 £100,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
a little bit more than £100 today, I imagine. Um, But basically, the goal here is I would say the goal is 5,000 people, or no, it's 20,000 people to pledge €50. So if they get to 1 million, that's what they estimate that this guitar is going to go for in auction, is €1 million.
Man, it's gonna go
Um,
for more than that.
you think so?
I think it's gonna go for
Okay.
more than 1 million.
Um, but
I think they're gonna need some help. They're gonna need. Oh, look, there's Zapier sending the link. After we've been streaming for 10 minutes. Um,
yeah, so part of it too, though, is that they are trying to say like, and this is where Ryan and I kind of talked about it, because what I think is really neat about this is there's a couple different movements, and but basically what she is saying is this is like an Irish relic. Like
yeah,
she compares this to the book, like a modern Book of Kells, which seems like a little much, but again,
it's a
I'm not
little much,
familiar
but
with the man.
Rory Gallagher is that big a deal because here's the deal. I want you to do me a favor. I
Hmm.
want you to name every Irish blues musician you know.
No, it's only Roy Gallagher.
It's Rory Gallagher. Now
Is you two blues? Then I can say Thedge.
no, absolutely, U2 is not blues. I absolutely would. I will rage. But no. So
Oh, Thedge is British. I thought he
yeah,
was Irish.
you're gonna have to. This is a guitar that Jim Irsay will absolutely try to go for.
Okay.
Is Gary
Well,
Moore Irish?
I don't.
Wait. Hold on. Is Gary Moore Irish? And I've been just didn't know that.
Yeah.
Noel
Well,
Gallagher is absolutely not blues. Um,
Gary Moore is from Belfast, and I don't want to get into that fight. So If
Okay.
Ian says he's Irish, I'm going to say he's
Yep.
Irish.
I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna say if he says he's Irish, we're gonna go back to regular screen now. Um,
but but Wikipedia says he's from the United Kingdom.
oh
But
well then.
obviously I know, that's a whole thing. But
So yeah,
so
that's a whole thing.
I'm poking a little fun at Ian because we had a whole explosive couple hours in the Discord about a week ago on an argument about what constitutes being Irish.
Oh
Um,
no.
but anyway, I also know, like, reading about not Gary Moore, about Rory Gallagher. There's a whole, it's basically, it is like The Edge, and it is Brian May, and it is basically every British uh, guitar god of the 70s and 80s. They don't say like, oh, I was inspired by Clapton. They all say like, I was inspired by Rory Gallagher.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
That's
so there
exactly
is
right.
that thing. To what Sister Rose is saying in the chat, that's being discussed is, one, they're hoping that if enough attention goes to this GoFundMe, that that the Irish government will step in. Which, that's actually where
Yeah.
Ryan and I end up taking this topic tomorrow.
Okay.
That like, what? Why don't, like, it's such a, I actually think that's a really cool idea, and it kind of goes back to like, it's a little like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. Like, it's a little like anti. Um,
Michael, I'll cut you. I'm just saying. I will cut you.
it's a little like, that there was a podcast. I don't think it lasted very long, but it was called "Things the British Stole," and it was about, the whole thing was about, it was about uh items in the British Museum that
Uh.
come from other countries,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
basically,
yeah. No, I.
how they got there. And so to that point, like, I think it's kind of along those lines, but I think it's really interesting for the Irish to come in and say, like, the thought of a government coming in and saying, this instrument is a important piece of our heritage and we want to purchase it, whether it's done by the city of Cork, whether it's done by at the national level. Actually, where Ryan and I end up talking about this tomorrow is like, Jim Irsay owns
All the
or
famous
like,
guitars ever.
well, like, Jim Irsay owns now the Sky Stang, right? The Kurt
Right.
Cobain Blue Mustang. The dude from Road owns the MTV Unplugged D18.
Does
Why
he?
didn't this?
I thought Ursay also owned that.
No, I think that Martin D18 is owned by the former Road guy. Am I
Okay.
getting something else? Maybe,
Uh,
is it something else?
let me see. You keep talking and I'll find it.
But anyway, uh, maybe it is Ursay. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
no.
mixing them up.
Ursay paid 4.5 million for it.
So what's the one that the guy from Rode CEO Nirvana? Let's see. No, it says recent Rode microphone founder Peter Friedman purchased Kurt Cobain's iconic Martin D18, played during MTV's Unplugged in 1993. He bought it and then he donated it. What did he donate it to? Donate.
Wait, because I'm seeing an article right here. It says, uh, "Oh no, this is an article from
Jim Irsay
Ursay saying
bitching
it's
about
not
it.
worth it."
Oh, yeah. Ursay wrote, like, came out. Anyway, that doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is, the conversation that we basically get into is like, why didn't the city of Seattle buy it? Like, the city of Seattle should own.
Right.
The city of Seattle should. Well, I think the Hendrix estate probably owns it, but like, the city of Seattle should at some point own a Jimi Hendrix relic. Like, cities or states or nations should be purchasing up rock and roll relics as like the folk history of their country.
So this is really
The
weird.
British government should be moving to buy one of Thedge's Lexicon 2200s or whatever model it was he used.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm seeing it. because sorry, I got really started to go down this rabbit hole of guitars selling at auction, and I'm also trying to figure out why this software is. Uh, oh, there we go. That's why.
Oh,
Maybe.
sorry, it's the TC 2290. That's what Thedge fell asleep.
Okay, gotcha.
Should Monterey buy the Monterey? Of course, Monterey should buy the Monterey Strat.
Just so
Obviously.
I think we get into a weird situation when we start talking about things like that. Things like the Roy Gallagher Strat absolutely should be in a museum somewhere. I don't
Right.
whether that's in
It
Cork.
belongs in a museum.
Right, right. Well, it's if it's in Cork, that's great. If it's just in Ireland somewhere, that's great. As someone who Steve and I, neither one of us have any business saying what is and isn't Irish. But let's be honest. I also wouldn't be super disappointed to see it in like the Blues Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. You know what I mean? I realize that's not culturally where Roy's from, but it's an accumulation of all blues, and Roy has such a huge I don't know, impact on blues that we don't doesn't get talked about a lot, and it really should.
Sure, sure.
Um,
I think the bigger it's a thing of like what is going to happen, and of course we don't know. Maybe there's an interview somewhere where he talks about it. What's going to happen to Jim Irsay's guitar collection in 15 years, 20 years,
man,
whatever.
no idea.
He's got one. He's old enough to have one foot in the grave, right? At least, I mean, I feel like I've got one foot in the grave.
I mean,
So,
however old
yeah,
he is, he also got busted with like 10 grand in cocaine a few years ago. So like, anyone who gets busted with 10 grand in cocaine, except Keith Richards, has one foot in the grave already.
he is 65 and he looks like shit. Sorry, Jim Irsay, you okay? And I say this as somebody who got called out on Reddit the other day because quote I have not aged well, according to one member of Guitar Circle Jerk. A screenshot got pulled up. There's a video that Ryan and I did a few years ago called "Gear That You Hate,"
Uh
um, and it comes up every few years. It was from February 2022, and somebody screenshotted that one. And I think the biggest thing is that I've gone I've gone a lot. The gray has migrated from the edges from my sideburns to like the front of my beard. Ursay was sick last year. I guess I guess that's probably a pretty good excuse
Yeah.
for having cocaine or whatever. No, I don't know.
No, no,
Um,
no. That was from longer ago than that.
but the my gray has migrated to like the front of my beard, so I definitely in the last couple years look uh, aged, I guess.
Yeah, the gray you can see when I grow the beard out, you really start to see all the gray in it. And right
Mm.
now, I gotta cut all this before I end up with neck beard. Gotta shave. Um, I'm running real ragged
But I
today.
also I appreciate Joe. Hi Joe, saying that I have that Obi-Wan beard silver. I have also started commuting. Like I drive probably not at least 9 hours a week, which is it doesn't sound like a lot. Like 9 hours a week, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's on 3 days. So I have like an hour and a half minimum commute one direction. So that adds up. Um, so yeah,
Gotcha.
that's my one foot in the grave story. My
So,
other my
uh,
other one foot in the grave story is we talked about this a little, I think last night, you and I. If I shave the lot, if I shave, Andre says if you shave the beard, you'll look a lot younger. If I shave the beard, I'll look a lot fatter. So I will look younger, but I think I'll actually, I think it's a net loss.
yeah, I
Because
agree.
um,
I'd
and
rather look old and haggard than fat, which is sad, but because
well,
I
well, I
am.
like
But
it's just like I don't really have much of a chin, so it just really
oh, I gotcha.
changes the shape of my face. Which is actually my beard is cut to even like to completely ovalize my face, so it's pretty short on the side and long in the front. Um, We were talking about this last night on kind of this general health thing, and this isn't about like a weight or anything. It is actually about a health and cholesterol and all of those blood counts and whatever. I bought a bike like 3 weeks ago. Um, and I started logging rides on Strava, which is
Mm,
neat. And I've been trying to get in like 3 or 4 miles like 3 days a week. But the reason I can't do more is I've been having like wrist pain, so I'm
yeah.
doing this. Uh, I'm doing like a wrist brace right now. I don't know if I like had a light sprain a while ago. I remember like trying to push myself up like a few months ago, um, or like falling down and like maybe getting a light sprain, but it's been kind of like coming back. But it sucks because when you're on a bike, you're like trying to lock in like this,
Yeah.
and my right wrist will only after about like 20-25 minutes, my index finger starts to go numb.
Yeah, so I
I've heard that's bad. I've heard it's bad to lose feeling in your fingers.
yeah, so it could be that. I'm going to give you a counter possibility. Are you familiar with cubital tunnel syndrome?
No, what's that?
So cubital tunnel syndrome is something I went through a few years ago. Do you sit and work at a desk a lot?
I do.
Do you put your elbows on the desk when you work?
No. I
Okay.
put them on,
So
I keep them on my chair.
there's a nerve that goes right here in your arm, and
Hmm.
if you're constantly leaning it on things, it actually can accentuate a pain that will cause numbness in your hand.
Oh,
And
interesting.
it's similar to cubital tunnel, but or carpal tunnel, but it's not the same. Uh,
Hmm.
so look up cubital tunnel syndrome, and that helped me a ton. Once I understood and figured that out and cut that out, stop doing that.
Interesting.
I have this wrist I broke in playing football, and I
Hmm.
also severed it real bad. You can see the scar right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all the muscles and tendons are severed there. There's like nothing there. So I'm like, my hand is numb from this side over, which is
Oh, interesting.
why I can't do volume swells with the pinky like everybody else, because I don't feel it. I don't feel the volume knob like everybody else does. Now, granted, could I have overcome that and learned to do it by now? Probably, but I don't. Um, so yeah, it's ulnar nerve. Thank you, Ian. Ian told me. I'm going to come back to something though, just to add another conversation
Sure,
real
sure.
quick. Jedi Jingle Maker. Also, just because I really appreciate someone saying our audio and video sounds good, because those have been our biggest problems in these live streams is audio. And uh, Jedi right now, I don't know about Steve's side, but I'll give you mine real quick. I'm using a Sennheiser shotgun microphone that's right. Oh, you can't. I can't even. Anyway, it's right. It's right here above my head,
Which
pointed
is
at me.
wild. I feel
Yeah,
like that's wild.
yeah. No, it's great. So it's pointed directly at me. It's going into a JHS Pedals Color Box V2, and then into the Apollo Twin, and yeah, and then
That feels very unconventional.
it sounds. If it sounds good, it is good, right?
It is. Yeah. No, you're right.
So, and my camera is a Sony A6400. It's right here in front of me. That I use an HDMI USB breakout box in my computer to feed the HDMI signal directly into.
I didn't. I don't think I realized. Wait, which camera are you using?
A6400, the Sony.
Yeah, I didn't realize we use the same camera. Maybe
Hmm,
I did know that and I forgot.
nice. I'm kind of looking for another one. I want to get a second one. Uh, I just don't have money, and I can't find somebody willing to trade a couple of pedals for an A6400 or pedals for an A6400. So
Yeah.
God,
Um.
I got a thumbs down for something. I don't know what we did, but we're doing it right. Um, they say you're
I
not actually live streaming until you get that first thumbs down.
I've never heard that, but okay.
Well,
Um.
no, I hear a lot of live streamers. They talk about the fact that they get a thumbs down before they actually even
Right.
start.
Right.
Like they just do the like during the countdown, somebody gives them a thumbs down.
Yeah. I also have the A6400. on my end, and then I've got this Mackie M99. I'm not married to it, but that's what I have. It works. I think EM99B is the model, and then I'm running that into a Volt 2. I don't run any like post. It's just mic straight in and whatever the built-in
Yeah,
untweaked pre's. So if it sounds good, it is good, like you said.
yeah, that's
Um,
exactly right.
but
All
but
right.
I like the A64. I need to use it more. I have it now. I have uh the 64 set up on cold shoe, so
Mm-hmm.
I can like move it around faster, which is a
Yeah.
really goofy idea because it's plugged into my computer directly. It's plugged in with a battery pack, so I can't really move it around
Yeah,
that
exactly.
fast
So
because I got to unplug all that stuff.
the real reason I want a second A6400 is so I never have to unplug this camera.
Oh
That's
my
why I
gosh.
want another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I this one actually. I was fighting this stand before we started today, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
buy uh uh re- articulating arm to put it on so that I can move it
Oh,
a little
okay.
more freely.
Yeah.
Because right now it's a little janky how it's set up. Actually, it's moved since the last time we streamed. It was over here. Now it's up here, so
Well,
that I can get this
you
really
like
fun view here.
I was gonna say like you remodeled a lot since the last time we streamed. Um, and I was thinking that I did you move your desk in on any of that, or you just moved everything behind you?
I moved everything behind me. So I'll go to widescreen for just a second while we're talking about this. So I did it like this. So I
Yeah.
had like a pedal shelf over here where I had like a wire shelf, and over here I
Right.
had like bass amp, and then I had guitar amps behind me, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move that stuff. It's fine. It was great, but it felt really claustrophobic, and also I prefer to have all my guitars in here rather than all my amps. I can swap amps in and out. I like to just be able
Mhm.
to grab whatever guitar I want while I'm in here. And so I moved the shelves that I've always had in here, but they've been over here. And so
Right.
now it just, and these lights really gave a really good frame. Um, I don't know. I did the live stream with, I mean, I did the episode with Maris recently, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the
And
middle of listening to that one. It's pretty
yeah,
good so far.
it was fun. I love Angelo and Terry and Gina, who isn't in the episode, but I love Gina at Maris as well. But they asked, they looked at this. I was talking because we were talking about backgrounds because they were figuring theirs
Yeah.
out and some things, and they said, I said, yeah, this took me a long time to get to. They're like, is that a real background? And I had to go back here and like touch things and be like, yeah, no, that's real. That's everything's back there.
What is that white? Is that a Grez, the white thing on
Yeah,
your right shoulder?
yeah, that is a Gres Folsom.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I love that guitar. Anyway, add you back to the right here. Steve, have you gotten anything? I know y'all do a what's new on the podcast, but I don't do a what's new on my podcast because
Yeah.
I don't have recurring guests. So have you gotten anything new that you haven't talked about on the podcast? Anything you want to talk about?
Um, Prime Day. I did two different things on Prime Day. One, I bought watch bands, and then I didn't install them. So I got a couple new watch straps, but then I installed the Chrome strap that I had. I posted about it on Threads.
Right?
This watch here, I'll show you.
Yeah. How are you
What's
feeling
funny
about
is
getting rid of the orange?
as soon as I did it, oh, let me figure out a good way to hold this. There. There you go.
There you go.
So as soon as I took the picture, I swapped out the orange silicone band for the original stainless steel. Um, Now the one thing with the stainless steel is I had to get an extra link from them, and they sent the links that are on here are stainless steel are brushed stainless with polished edges,
Uh huh.
and the one that they sent me is stainless steel with is brushed stainless steel with a brushed edge. So I have one link that's like different than all the rest. I already emailed them and said, hey, uh, you're really hooking me up, because they sent them for shipping, cost of shipping only, but also you sent me the wrong thing. So but I posted on Threads because I'm like, I know that there is a watch community within the guitar community, and I'm really interested about it. Like
Yeah.
I find watches, I'm starting to find them like fascinating, all the different designs, and just seeing what people are into, because it's very much like I think of watches as like personal, um as from like a personal aesthetic choice thing. Um,
Yeah.
and trying to like use the watch as, it's like an instrument. Like when you're playing it, if you play a Stratocaster, you're kind of like saying something about yourself. Like you're saying, I'm playing a Stratocaster, I'm not playing a Les Paul, or I'm playing, whatever. um so like there's something else, right? There's some other thing that you're conveying about you, or maybe you just don't, or whatever, right? Like you're saying, point is, you're saying something about yourself. The watch, if you choose to wear one, you're saying something about yourself. It's like, I think of them as like a semi-functional jewelry, not fully
Yeah.
functional, because these days we all have phones in our pockets. um but I posted it, and a couple other people have posted theirs, but the first person to respond was Zach over at Mythos, who
Yeah.
dropped his like freaking James Bond Seamaster Omega, and I looked that up and I just like fell out of my chair,
Yeah. I don't.
because
I can't do
I
watches.
the first person I know with that had one was who started kind of like doing watch stuff on the side. It was Mary Spender.
Yeah.
Is I think she has a Breitling Super Ocean. Breitling. I don't know how to pronounce that. Um, and that's like a $3,000 watch. I think they're like 6,000 new.
Whew.
Uh, but they're like,
Mm-mm.
you can get
Mm-mm.
them for like $3,000 used.
Whew.
The cheapest I found Zach's watch for, it's the No Time to Die, so it's like the Daniel Craig
Yeah.
Omega. The cheapest I could find it for used was 6,500.
No, sir.
So, but
No.
again, like
No,
that's
bro.
from like a collectability standpoint, like that is like a whole thing, right? Like
Yeah.
on the one hand, like and the reality is that aside from maybe the absolute like top tier guitar brands, all of these, like the bigger watch names, actually do tend to um appreciate over time,
Yeah. I
like in
look.
value.
Technically, I own two watches, but this is the one I wear. This is like every day. I've had it for, I don't know, 7 years, 6 years. Garmin Vivo Active. I got it because I was running, and thankfully, I'm getting back into running. It's how we started the fitness conversation.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
and I got it just to track distance,
Yeah.
and I use it every day because it's like a low function smartwatch. So it is a smartwatch, but it doesn't, like, I can't make calls on it. I can't like
Right.
text from it. I can't even see whole messages on it. It's low function smartwatch. Basically, I use it to screen my phone because I don't keep my ringer
Mm.
on, and so yeah, I paid pretty good money for this. This is the Vivo Active Music because in my head I was like, oh, it'd be great not to have to take my phone when I go running because you can actually sync it to your Spotify and download certain playlists directly to the
Oh,
watch.
cool.
But I'll be honest, the Bluetooth is not good, and like it would have really intermittent connection with my headphones, and
Oh, weird.
so yeah, and so I stopped doing that. So I won't get one. Well, maybe a newer one would be a little better, but
So even the limited function that you described, it was too much for me. I used to,
yeah.
because I used to wear the what's the other brand that's like very, it's actually like the Fitbit.
Your
I used
Fitbit,
to have
yeah.
a Fitbit Charge, and I got to a point. Snarky said he wants to hear us talk about mental health, so this is about mental health.
Yep.
I got to a point where, at the end of the day, looking at my watch and seeing that I only taken like 3,500 steps was like very frustrating. And then looking at like waking up in the morning, because I know I don't sleep well. And I kind of have a little bit of a sleep tracking back in my life because I use a CPAP. And so
Yeah.
basically, I look at however long the CPAP is on is approximately how long I slept. Um, but having it on my watch and seeing like when I already knew I wasn't sleeping good, but now I'm going to the app and it's not just saying like, oh, you didn't sleep enough, but also you're in like a because it's tracking your REM and
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
like saying like that's also like not getting good numbers. um was kind of like that put me in like a rough place where I was like, oh, I'm not doing good enough, and like I'm dying because I'm not sleeping well, and
See,
I have this object on my wrist that's telling me that like I'm not active enough and all of these things. And I'm just like, when I had owned that watch for like a super long time, and when to the point where like I had bought Amazon bands,
uh-huh,
because you could buy like silicone bands that would fit on the watch. Buy like 3 or 4 of them for the cost of one official Fitbit watch.
right.
So I had done that like 3 or 4 times. I'd owned this thing for probably uh, I'd owned this watch for at least, I don't know when the Charge 3 came out, but uh, I I feel like I probably owned it for at least 5 or 6 years.
Right.
Um, and I had other Fitbits before that, and it just got to a point where, yeah, it's too much information. Um, has switching to like an analog watch like improved my actually I will say like I think switching to an analog watch has improved my mental health in that small regard, you
Yeah.
know. um
For me, I like being able to like. So mine actually tracks my stress level based on temperature and heart rate,
hmm,
and I have found it really helpful to just it tells me because sometimes I don't realize I'm getting amped up or anxious, and
right.
it will trigger and like warn me. It'll vibrate on my wrist, and I'll look down and be like abnormal heart rate or high stress, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to stop. I need to breathe. I need to calm down. So it's been really really helpful in that regard. Um, Having said that, I bought my wife an Apple Watch year ago, 2 years ago for her
Hmm.
birthday, and it's way better than I thought. I had kind of written them off as like Apple's like money grab in the digital smartwatch world, and it's real good. And so I think when this dies, I'm not gonna go out and like buy one today, but when this dies, I'm probably just gonna go Apple because it integrates in everything else I do.
Yeah.
It's just one more wearable device. Anyway, I think also it tracks my sleep, and that I really appreciate that. If I'll wear it when I'm sleeping, I take it off a lot of nights, and I just don't because I don't. I take it off when I play guitar. I take it off. Yeah, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like things on my wrist. I don't like jewelry in general, like my wedding ring sitting over here on a table. I don't like things on my hands and wrists. So the fact that I even wear this thing is a minor miracle.
I finally had bought, well, I switched to silicone rings. I outgrew my my original wedding band.
That's what
Uh
happens when you get married as a baby, Steve.
Yeah, I mean there is something to that. My original wedding band doesn't fit, so I switched to silicone, and I would replace them every couple years. But the last time I ordered a replacement, I tried a different style that didn't have like breathing grooves cut into
Oh
it,
yeah,
and that one, I would wear that, and by the end of the day, the skin underneath the ring would turn like white from just like moisture and whatever
yeah,
buildup. So I haven't been wearing one for a while, and
yeah.
it's a matter of like I just need to go back to the website and order the one that I had before, and everything will be fine. But that sounds too much like work.
Snarky. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, sir. No way. Uh, so coming back a little to the things new, I'm going to mention a couple of things that I. So I went to Nashville last weekend, and I went and saw Cardinal Black with Chris Buck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and they sounded great. I really didn't get a chance to talk to Chris any, which is fine. I'm gonna trying to get him on the podcast here sometime soon. But you know, he was swarmed after the show, and I'm like, you know what?
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm just gonna I'll catch him later. No big deal. But I did get to go. They did a hang at Mythos with Zach on
Okay.
Monday before the show. Um, and I picked up a couple of things. One of them I can talk about. One of them I can't talk about yet. But I picked up one of the. He's been holding one of the Loch Ness green golden fleeces for me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this was from their run they just did of the special colors, and I had when he announced them actually. So he had showed me some pictures of them, and then he announced that they'd be coming, and I was like, "Hey Zach, I need a golden fleece because I don't like mini petals. I hate them. I hate them so much." And so the golden fleece is normally a mini petal, but he did one for this
Mhm,
run
mhm.
in a full size enclosure. I was like, I need that, so hold on to that for me. And I actually traded for it. I traded him a 40th anniversary TS9 um, for it.
Because he's a tube screamer collector,
Yeah,
right?
he's a tube screamer collector, and so
I
that got me thinking about collections. And like I thought I wanted to collect tube screamers a long time ago. I thought I wanted
hmm
to like Kyle over in the Discord he has his like original run of 9 series pedals.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Ivan has 9 series pedals collection that he built over about a year and a half. Um, and I was like, I have a lot of stuff, but I don't really have a collection, like a focused collection. I was like, what's my
sure.
focused collection going to be? And then I found this at Fanny's in Nashville. This is the Eric Johnson fuzz face.
Okay,
One of the oh look, it's actually over my face. Uh, it's this is
and it looks
this
like a face,
this is one of the Eric Johnson fuzz faces. They did 2 of them.
right?
And so I got an okay deal on it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna build a fuzz face collection. I love fuzz faces. I I have I have another one. It's over there, the red germanium one. I've got a
Okay,
Hendrix one on the way, the
bef-
blue and teal one.
before you
What's that?
get too deep into this, here's
Yeah,
my question:
yeah.
when you say fuzz face, are you only saying like the circle? If it's not a circle, is it not a fuzz face?
Yes, that is what I mean, and very
So like for
specifically,
analog man, fuzz sun face is not okay.
no. Which honestly, that's what kind of spurred this. I have 2 sun faces. I
hmm
have I have Zach's fuzz face, the 1347. Sorry, I took a lot of pedals out of here. They're over in the other room on a shelf. I have a solid gold effects Imperial. I have a peppermint fuzz from Analog Man, which is just a modded
Right.
it's just a modded fuzz face. And so like fuzz face, I love them. And so I'm like, let's start a collection. And so I have started a spreadsheet of every fuzz face, round Dunlop fuzz face. I'm gonna start there, right? I'm not talking Dallas Arbiter. I'm not talking R2R, any of the other folks who make really great fuzz
Right.
face circuits.
Right.
Dunlop circle fuzz faces. I am including the mini ones though. And I think I'm up
Well,
to
as long as it's a circle, it
yeah, as
just
long
has
as
to be
it's
a
a
circle.
circle. And I think I'm up to 15 variations of circle fuzz faces they've made. Um, and so
Uh,
I'm
And
what
and you're saying you're not including the Dallas Arbiter circle fuzz
not
faces?
including the Dallas Arbiter. Although there is a very early, and I need to include this one, there's a very early Dunlop Dallas Arbiter fuzz
Right.
face.
Right.
And
Right.
so that one has to be included. But now I'm on this like crazy quest to like get them all. Now the ones that are in current production are easy, right?
Sure.
I can get those. But like they've done 2 different Bonamassa fuzz faces. They've done an old 80s discontinued Hendrix fuzz face that's all
Are the
black.
are the Bonamassa ones different, or are
Yes,
they
they are different. One
they're not just
is
colors?
yeah, so one is I can't remember which is which. But there's a copper one and then there's a black one. And the black one is just painted copper. One has and it changes the transistors in them is what's different.
Oh,
And
okay.
they also look different. So I need both of those, and they're very expensive. Although they're not the most expensive. I honestly thought this was the most expensive. I was very very wrong. The original, the other Eric Johnson one is limited to 50 units.
Ooh, good luck with
So
that.
yeah, that one is like that's in the range of am I really gonna pay this much money for a fuzz face?
Right.
Right? But also they did a Band of Gypsies fuzz face that was a limited run that is also really expensive. They make a mini one of it now that's easy to get, but the full sized one is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So Snarky, they're not quiet at all. Fuzz faces are not quiet. They're not meant to be quiet. There's exactly one setting for fuzz faces, and this is it. Just crank both knobs. Just go full. Uh, Doyle, yes, I need to collect all three of those. They've made more than three though. There's the silicon Hendrix mini fuzz face. There's the germanium mini fuzz face. There's the Band of Gypsies mini fuzz face. There's the Bonamassa mini fuzz face. There's another one that I can't remember. I've got the spreadsheet. Anyway, if anybody is
Got this
selling,
spreadsheet.
I've got a spreadsheet. If anybody's selling a fuzz face, hey, hit me up. I might be interested. Anyway, that was my digression. That was me trying to find people to sell me fuzz faces.
I don't have a fuzz face.
What's up, Amanda? You have something that's a fuzz face, don't you? I mean, you don't have
Oh,
a
probably.
fuzz face. But yeah.
Hi, Amanda. I feel like I need to move my camera a little to the right.
Just so you can use your
my
right hand?
Just so I can use my right hand. I have to. I'm just. All of the narrow framing is anyway.
Let's see.
Oh man.
Oh, let's
Do you-
this was I highlighted this one earlier. Wanted to come back to it because you have a bunch of guitars too, so you probably have some insight on this. If you make an active effort.
I don't.
So Andre, if you're still with us, speaking of spreadsheets, I have a spreadsheet of all of my guitars and string gauges and when I last changed them. And so
So I'll just say this. I talk about this a lot. This is a little behind the show, and so and for Ryan, it's totally different. Basically, so I think when we do the String Joy promotion on 60 Cycle Hum on a podcast, I've got this. It's directly behind me. I can't even freaking point to it. But one of the things I say is the Les Paul that's right behind me that I put orbiters on that at this point, I don't know, like 5 months ago, and it still feels basically brand new. But here's the thing.
uh-huh.
I have this Stratocaster. I
Yeah.
moved into this house 2 years ago. I think the last time I changed strings on it was before I moved. The strings still feel almost brand new.
Yeah.
I don't I generally right now it's warm in here in my hands, but I wash my hands pretty frequently. I don't have that the acidic sweat. I've never had it. I have literally given Ryan guitars with where like years ago we did a PRS demo. It's for I think the Starla,
Oh
like
yeah.
the very early version Starla with a Bigsby. I got to put this down because otherwise I'm just going to want to noodle.
Yeah. I get it.
That's also the Stratocaster that Ryan hates, which is a different story.
So I'll just piggyback on
sorry,
that.
real quick. So we got this PRS, and when Ryan gave it to me, he probably had it like a month. He gave it to me. The strings on it felt like they were like 20 years old.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. So when he's talking about like he will get like a dozen packs of orbiters from Stringjoy and go through them all. Now granted he's keeping like probably 6 or 8 guitars fresh in that time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he
yeah.
will go through them all. And his the way that he destroys guitars is a lot less than it used to be when we were in our 20s.
Yeah.
He has become a less acidic person. Um, but yeah, I've never had that. So I've never had strings that I've on guitars where I don't even wipe mine down after I play. I should.
Yeah, you should.
But really, I think that's a big thing is if you can wash your hands before you play, just do something real quick. Like even if it's just a rinse, I'd almost say like don't use soap because you don't want to like soften up your skin. You just want to get that top layer of whatever crap might be on your hands off. And then if you do have an issue or you do get sweaty when you play, like wipe your wipe your strings down. We did get sponsored by a spreadsheet thing called Under My Roof, so that's probably what you think.
Yeah.
It was a iOS app called Under your roof. The soap is like, I'm saying the soap because like some soaps are like with moisturizer and whatever, and like
Yeah, you don't
I
want
probably
that.
don't want moisturizer. Um, but yeah, so I don't really destroy strings. Even the guitars I play a lot, I don't really destroy the strings. My guitars take more damage from collecting dust, and the strings take more damage from collecting dust. So
For
everybody's a little different. People have to do what works for them.
I
And
recommend.
also, like, the orbiters feel different,
Yeah.
so
I see. I don't like
it's not
them.
just a long lasting thing. I like the way that they feel too. I don't think they feel coated per se, but they do feel a little different.
Yeah, I like the Foxwoods that Stringjoy makes.
Mm,
They're coated acoustics. I really they're the first. They are the first coated acoustic string I like. Period. But I also don't have that acidic sweat thing. But I do. I wash my hands before I play almost every time. Um, when strings have really been on for a while, I'll use it's over this shoulder. You can see these cans in the background. That's a
hmm.
finger ease, so I'll use that to clean the strings.
So
Um, go ahead.
go ahead. We'll talk
Oh,
about that stuff
okay.
too.
Yeah. So, but I only use that after strings have been on a guitar for a while, or if I'm playing like a 4 hour show live, I'll take it and clean it between sets.
Mm, mhm.
But I also temperature, humidity. Temperature, humidity. Monitor the temperature in the room that you keep your guitars and monitor the humidity in the room you keep your guitars.
Yeah, for
Your
sure.
strings will last longer if you can keep that humidity between about 40 and 50%. You can go up to about 55%,
Hmm.
and keep the temperature around that, 69 to 74 degree range. If you can do those two things, and that's what I do in here, my strings last a long, long, long time. I picked up what guitar did I pick up yesterday for the first time in a while? Um, it was one of my 335s, I think, and it played just like before, and I haven't played it in like 2 months because I've had other stuff going on. Um, Temperature, humidity, buy good strings, wash your hands. And
Yeah.
don't be afraid to clean them if you need to with something like finger ease. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So you're a fingeries guy.
Uh
I
huh.
don't see fingeries brought up a lot. I used to use fingeries. I kind of don't use anything anymore.
Yeah. Some people use
Um,
fast fret. It's basically the same thing.
it's mineral oil. So fast fret is mineral oil, but it's like on the stick,
Yeah.
I guess. I do have some like I got like a lemon oil a Dunlop 65 lemon oil, but that's a little different.
Yeah. No, that's a different thing.
I used to keep so I will say back when I was playing like a lot of bass live and playing shows and stuff, my basses would get gross. The strings would be okay, but a lot of times the back of the neck would get
Hmm.
real sticky. So I used to keep a can of fingeries in my gig bag and a cloth. And so sometimes, if I played a show on a Friday night and then turn around and open my bass up on a Sunday morning, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, this is way grosser than I thought it was. I would just do a quick spray down before
Yeah.
Sunday morning rehearsal. Um, it is, Ian Johnson says, I don't like the feel of fast fret. It is definitely controversial. The situations, I've always just done it by when I feel like it needs it. So it's kind of more of as like a cleaning tool.
Hmm.
Uh, but there is, you know, what that feels like is going to be different to everyone, I think. Because sometimes maybe the feeling that it's too clean because it's like not lubricated at all, you know,
Yeah.
is like it's not dirty, but it feels off.
I I have a friend of mine who, when he would gig, he would and he didn't have really bad acidic
Hmm.
sweat either, but he would clean before and after every gig. And the way he did, he took finger ease, which is just, it's the first thing I discovered, and it's what I've always used. Like, I've never
Right.
used fast fret. I like finger ease because it also uh, will hydrate fingerboards, the fretboards
Hmm.
on rosewood fretboards that are, non-sealed. And so it also helps that a little, although the oils in your hands should be doing most of that.
Right.
But he would actually spray it, and then he took a cloth and like a really good, like hard, heavy duty cloth, and he would, with the cloth, he would
Hmm.
take the string between his fingers and he would run the entire length of the string. And if it's dirty, you'll hear a squeaking while you're going up and down the string. And
Oh,
and he would clean the string until the squeaking stopped.
right.
And so that's it. It's if it's dirty, it squeaked. If it's once it's clean, it's smooth. And he would do it until it stopped. It's just wild. I don't go that far. I don't use it very often. I haven't bought a can in a while, so I'm not really going through
Yeah.
it because I'm not gigging. If I were gigging as much as I used to, I'd be going through it like crazy.
I will say with fingeries is actually just I've never looked at the ingredients, but it's just naphtha basically.
Okay.
Um, it's naphtha, and then I know people. Thing that they freak out about is that it's naphtha, butane, isobutane, and propane.
Yeah.
You have to say it like that legally. I believe it's pronounced propane. Uh,
Damn it, Bobby.
but but I know people because it is a spray, and so it has these extra gases in it. They do
Yeah.
go for the fast fret, or I just saw D'Addario has a product called XLR8 that is probably also. They're just basically all these mineral oil, naphtha,
Accelerate.
whatever. Oh
Accelerate.
my God, is that what that is?
Accelerate. Yeah.
Hey, at least I said at
XLR8.
least I said at least I said D'Addario right. Um, but
Oh
it's
my
they're all
gosh.
basically the same product in just different forms um in terms of what is going on in there. Apparently GHS fast fret will give you cancer though, according to the state of California. But don't worry, everything
According,
in the
I
state
bet
of California will give you cancer.
exactly everything gives you cancer. I get packages all the time with that whole like whatever
Yeah.
65 warning. Just everything's giving you cancer. Stress is giving you cancer. Anyway, not going to go down that road.
Well, the big concern, is about silicone products, but I don't even know what products have. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a guitar product that actually has um, silicone in it, like that people get worried about the silicone.
silicone,
So
not silicon.
silicone,
Yeah,
silicone.
yeah. I don't know. Oh, I got one of these too. While we're talking about new things, highly recommend the Ernie
Is that
Ball.
the Ernie Ball one?
Yes, it is really, really good.
Do you prefer that over just owning like a is would a 9.6 volt electric screwdriver be too much? Like
I
you
I don't know. That would probably be fine. Okay.
but
So
then but
here's
then you need then you got to buy the thing.
I had $20 Guitar Center credit from something I bought a while back, right?
Hmm.
Because I used the gear card to get the points, right? And so I had $20, and I was like, "What am I going to get with $20? I don't need strings. I have tons of strings." And I saw this, and I was like, "You know what?" And this is a rechargeable one, so it's not doesn't have it's got a rechargeable battery. I don't change batteries in it,
Okay.
and I was like, "Let's give that a try." Holy shit, did it change my life as far as stringing guitars.
What's the difference between the regular one and the Pro? You have the Pro. The
Yeah,
Pro
this is
is
the Pro.
the Pro is batteries. The No, the
The
Pro is rechargeable.
And the regular
The
one
regular
takes
one is
batteries.
batteries.
Yeah. Yep.
I almost feel like not having batteries or not having. I feel like having batteries could be better. Um, and of course, obligatory joke about the fact that both of these products are the Power Peg and the Power Peg Pro.
Wah wah wah. So, yeah. Anyway, let's. Oh, a couple of things that came up. First of all, science joke from
That is
Amanda.
what you're hearing.
Yep.
I am
So,
a neutral-handed.
Then we're gonna come back to this. Yes, you should. You should have, uh, not necessarily of everything you've owned. I did a list of every amp I've ever owned.
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about it.
Here's a
It's a long list.
do you still own some of your first pedals?
No.
No, not like nothing. Okay, I'm gonna go. Let me grab something real quick. I
Okay.
want to like.
I'll comment on this then while we're talking about it. You should absolutely have a spreadsheet of your gear, for insurance purposes, just in general. You got to have that stuff written down, because things happen. But I did a spreadsheet of every amp I've owned, and I flipped gear a lot in college and past college, and I've gone through a lot of amps. So a lot of things I just bought because it was a good deal, and I knew I was going to sell it later. So just flipping a lot of stuff. So I counted all of those. I've owned something like 80 amplifiers over the
Good
last
grief!
25 years. So anyway, I
I
don't
don't
even
think
want to
I've.
talk. I've not done it for guitars. I don't want to. I don't want to do it for guitars. I think that list is shorter though than the amps. It might not be, but I think it is.
So I pulled this pedal. This is not the first pedal I owned, but I would say this was like a formative era pedal. This is the little eagle.
I
It's
don't even know what that
from a
is.
company called SBN Pedals. Actually, let me go grab a different pedal real quick.
Okay, go for it. While he's gone in the comments, just because I'm curious, all I don't know, 33 of y'all. What was your first pedal?
Um, did you guys just ask me what my first pedal
No,
was?
I asked
Oh,
everybody else what their
oh,
first pedals
everybody
were.
else. Okay, good. Because I was like, You're not talking to me. I'm not there." This one's a little beat. I know it's got some buzziness on it. It needs to be cleaned out. Also, it's very dusty. Ugh, I need to like just go and clean my pills. This is a this is a not really a company. This is a guy who just his last name I think was Watt, so he called his company. Uh,
Okay.
I do not have autofocus on, I guess, but he
Oh,
called
gotcha.
it
Well, no,
10 watt.
it's because your face was still in the frame. It's gonna prioritize your face. Yeah, nope, still weird. Anyway,
But anyway, this is called the Fox Hunt. This was the first. This was actually the first like good fuzz I owned.
right?
Because I did have like a Dan Electro grilled cheese, which I wouldn't count as a fuzz, but whatever. But this is a Fox Tone. This was a Mad Beans board, uh, which is funny because back then he was very clear with the folks on the guitar forum I was on, um, that he was just taking Mad Beans boards and putting them in cool cases, and how he didn't really think of it as a business. It was just like this fun thing he was doing. But now you have all of these people on freaking Reverb and stuff who are cloning like JHS and
Oh,
EQ. There's a bunch of like when the EQD Life came out, there were a bunch of like EQD Life knockoffs
I
in
remember
like
that.
there's a company called Minimal Pedals. That's all they do is they're just buying stuff off of like pedal PCB.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was a Mad Beans kit, Fox Tone Machine. Um, my point being is that like I feel like back in the day, um, and again I'll show this one again. I'll just hold this one for all. This is what kind of pedal do you think this is?
Looking at it, looks like it's a muff.
It is not a muff. I
What
can
is
see
it?
why you would get that though. I feel like it used to be a brighter shade of green. Maybe it hasn't faded. Maybe that's just my memory. This is a tube screamer.
That's a tube
um,
screamer.
it's a tube screamer. There's a bigger box version of this that this guy made, SBN pedals, called the Scream and Eagle. That was two tube screamers in
Yeah.
one box. But basically, yeah, it's drive, tone, volume. This is the first. So actually, I had a tube screamer before this. That was the Visual Sound Jekyll and Hyde, the red box. So it's the red V1. So they had silver V1, then red V1, and then they went on to V2. And the current version, the rectangular box that they call V3, the V2 was like the soft pentagon.
Right.
Is that a pentagon? Yeah, it's a pentagon. The soft home plate, as
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
it. The V1s were all like the hard line. But anyway, I had one of those. The Jekyll side is a tube screamer, and
Mm-hmm.
I could never 4 knobs is too many knobs for a tube screamer.
Clean blend, man. You gotta
I,
have that
I
clean blend.
it wasn't even clean, but I think it was treble. I think it was
Oh
I
yeah.
think it was treble and bass instead of single tone.
Wait till I tell you about the Wampler Clarksdale.
I felt like I could never get that thing dialed in, and so I bought this from the guy's. His handle on the thing was like Sugar Bear Nichols, I think. So that's why it was SBN.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I bought this. I plugged it in and had the tone I wanted in like 30 seconds.
Oh, that's awesome.
All of this to say, I have this idea that may eventually turn into a full-fledged video if I will, as I've said so many times on here, if I ever finish editing my NAMM videos and start making other things.
Yeah.
Um, I have this idea to go back and pull some of the pedals that aren't even made anymore, like this, or were only made like 1 or 2 times, like this. This company, SBN Pedals, I was actually like it's like basically manufacturing pedals out of
Yeah.
it was like a weekend job, um, and try to make a video kind of around that, talking about early pedals. And these 2 pedals and a Boss DD5 were like the core of my sound for like a long time, and everything else was just other things. And I think in some ways, like, that was the best time of music making for me. One, because I was young and I didn't know any better, and
Right.
two, because my options were limited and I didn't have to spend a lot of time figuring out what 16 knobs did, because I only had 3 knobs and they either worked or they didn't.
I'm sitting
But
here going through people's first pedals, by the way.
like the other part of it, I think I also have a Rat that I could probably, like an old Proco Rat, Rat 2, that I could probably also include in this. But the other part of it is, I don't know if this culture exists as much anymore, of where you could just go on a web forum and there would be like a couple people on there that are like, yeah, I build pedals. If anyone wants a tube screamer and my own twist on a tube screamer, let me know and I'll like set a piece. Because I
Yeah,
feel like
that was
because I
definitely a
feel
thing.
like everything else is I feel like so much now is like you make something and then you throw it on Reverb and you're trying to just sell it, or you're making an Instagram account and taking fancy pictures and you're trying to sell it, and you're not doing you're missing that personal connection. And maybe it does exist. I don't know. I mean, I know, like, we have in the Facebook group, the 60 Cycle Hum Facebook group, and occasionally around here we've got Ryan Berman, who's kind of doing his progress pedals thing right now,
Yep.
and he's working on getting those manufactured by, I think he's just going to do it like a single run and then call it a day, but he calls it the Dad 250. um
I
and he's
remember that now.
yeah, he's gonna get the PCBs and the well, he's working on getting the PCBs and the boxes all manufactured in the U.S.
Hmm.
From a company that does that. From, I think I can say he's working, trying to get work out terms and timelines and everything with John Cusack,
Oh,
because
cool.
Cusack does a lot of that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. He does a lot
Um,
of that whole behind the scenes working with other
yeah.
builders to get their products out.
And
So,
of course, you just had him up here, Justice at FuzzAmp. He built
yep.
stuff. So we do have, but I feel like I I don't know. It just feels different now than it did 25 years ago.
Yeah, do we
I
want to talk about how the longer? Oh my god.
I also realized, and that's part of like why I want to try to make this video this year, is I think this year is pretty much would be like my 25th year playing guitar.
Yeah,
Um,
this is my 25th year for sure.
and I think so I first started taking guitar lessons in like 1996. They did not last long.
Yeah.
Um, but so and then but I think I took up guitar like very, like, I would say the point where I started taking it seriously was like 1999. Um, Now, seriously, again, like, as I've said, like, I've talked about this on here and I've talked about this on the podcast. Like, I learned what pentatonics were this year. So I don't know if you could make the argument that I didn't take it that seriously, but I don't know, man. I know a lot of chords.
Yeah, I get it. Uh,
But
I'm gonna share
I,
my first pedal here real quick.
oh yeah, what was your first pedal?
Share screen. That
What is? I've never seen that.
that. So it's a Morley Diamond Distortion, and I bought it. It was from the late '90s.
Hmm.
I bought it because I didn't own I had chorus on my amp, and that was it. And I just played, and
Hmm.
I was playing in this like I don't know. I wasn't into the music, but they were. Had some friends who were into like I am gonna get so much heat here, but they were like really into like Pearl Jam and like some of the grungier stuff in the '90s, and I wasn't. It wasn't my thing. Still, really, kind of isn't my thing. But I went to they wanted to play, and I was like, I have no overdrive. I'm playing a clean amp,
Mm.
and so I went on Musician's Friend, I think on the website. I can't remember if it was the website or out of the catalog, but they had this and it was being discontinued, and I paid $25 for it.
Oh wow.
And I have thought about rebuying one, but now they're like $125, $150, and I don't know that I
Yeah.
want to invest $150 in the nostalgia. It is not a distortion. It is a soft overdrive.
Oh, okay.
It does not live up to the name. So, um, anyway,
All of my first pedals were well, my I think my actual very first pedal was a Boss TU2, but I could be getting that wrong. Um, but I also bought a bunch of. There was a guy that I knew who had a bunch of those Dan Electro food pedals, and then he was getting into real pedals,
oh
uh,
yeah,
and
real pedals.
so I bought like I think six Dan Electro food pedals off of him, and a Dunlop Crybaby.
Yeah,
Um, and so those were actually all my, and I don't own any of those anymore.
yeah. I
I might have a Dan Electro. I might have a PB and J somewhere, but I may have also donated that PB and J to the Wheel of Pedals
oh, that's
back when we
possible.
were doing Wheel of Pedals. Um,
I had I had some of the big box Dan Electro pedals for a little while. I had the Daddio lived on my board for a while there
oh
in the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
Which I always thought it was like a fancy tube screamer. It's not. It's a Marshall Governor.
the Daddio, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Daddio's a Marshall Governor.
There's some real gems in that series. I mean, if you want to, uh, if you really like want to dive into it, the Dan Echo is was like a really good one. The
Yep.
Cool Cat chorus, except for the fact that it is 18 volts, so it's kind of a pain in the butt.
There's a 9 volt version. There's two versions.
I've heard it's not as good.
Yeah, I think the headroom isn't as good, and also I don't think the 9 volt version is stereo. I think the
Hmm.
9 volt version is mono only. So
Um,
I think I'm getting that right. At some point, there's so much useless pedal knowledge in your head that you can't keep it all straight anymore.
yeah, yeah. And then, well, have you ever played a Fab Tone?
I've owned two of them. It is
The
still the most ridiculously fun, useless pedal I've ever played.
You think they're
I
useless? Well, I
could
mean, I guess
not.
for you they would be
Yeah,
useless.
yeah.
I'm
They weren't my
surprised.
thing.
I'm surprised, and maybe somebody has uh, that there is not a like. I feel like somebody should have made a boutique version of the Fab Tone by now because that is like the '90s shoegaze pedal.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone who's I can't think of anyone that's made one.
Yeah. So I tried to like look it up, and someone's on Reddit's like, I heard it descended from the Metal Zone. And I'm like, I don't think it sounds like a Metal Zone.
It doesn't sound anything like a Metal Zone. I'm pretty sure it's a DoD grunge.
You'd think it's a grunge, but
Yeah.
it sounds so much better than the grunge.
Well, I think that's what it was based on. Don't quote me on that. I And I mean, they're still just dirt freaking cheap. So, like, if you want one, hold on. Let's find the cheapest one on Reverb. Low to high.
I
You
just don't want the. My big thing is I don't want that box format.
$40. $40. Actually, that's with shipping. Here's one in Indianapolis, Indiana for $41 free shipping.
I don't need one, but
And now I'm adding it to my favorites to see if I get a direct deal for even cheaper. Here's one for $50 free shipping. I mean, they are so dirt cheap. I still have that little plastic Dan Electro Fab Metal. That thing's truly useless.
Oh, that one I believe is useless. Now I'm seeing other people that are saying that it's a clone of the Grunge, which is apparently a clone of the Rat, which
What?
also
What?
seems odd. I mean, I
That
don't
doesn't
know.
make any sense.
Fab
Um,
tone distortion is I mean, maybe it is, and maybe the Grunge is just that was like that shitty that like it was really easy to make it better, and Dan Electro did that. I don't know.
Michael Kraus, there is nothing useless about a ring mod. Ring mod's amazing. Also, I don't get the hate on this thing. It sounds freaking great.
I haven't played a Metal Zone in like 20 years,
I
so I
so
honestly
me
don't
me
remember.
either. So that's why I got one. I was like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I had one before. I got one. I got this one. I bought it in Boston at the Guitar Center there because once again had
Mm-hmm.
Guitar Center credit. By the way, y'all, I'm not advocating going into debt for gear, but if you're buying gear anyway, get the Guitar Center gear card. I get nothing for telling you to do this, but I literally they have specials where like they give you 10% back in dollars to get other stuff. So I had $60 back, and so I bought this, and I was in like a Metallica mood,
Mm-hmm.
and I straight up dialed up like one of the best Metallica tones I've ever pulled off without just cranking into an amp. It was really 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 good. So yeah, I buy cheap pedals, y'all. They're great. Joe, I also need an HM2. Uh, JD's. This is the Ryan Free Zone. This is the live stream Steve and I do.
Ryan is probably at his house eating
Yeah,
breakfast with his kids.
yeah,
That is
that
my
sounds right.
guess.
Yeah, that's a great guess.
Uh,
But yeah, damn it, Steve, I was trying not to buy pedals that aren't fuzz faces. Now I may have to buy a Fab Tone again. Um,
this is a surf guitar.
that is definitely a surf guitar. 100% a surf guitar. Um, Wait, what are the stipulations? Single coil pickups, weird body shape with bonus for finish, and it has to have a wiggle stick.
Wiggle stick.
Okay, hold on.
So I have two other surf guitars. I've got a Jag Stang in Fiesta Red back there,
Surf
and
guitar.
I've got the green Jazz thing over there. And yeah, that's a surf guitar. It's single coil in the bridge, wiggle stick, not a surfy shape.
No, it's not a surfy
No,
shape. It's a western shape. It's got a western
no.
vibe to it, but definitely a surf guitar.
Hey, it's Landon. Hi, Landon.
Oh, wait, Steve. I've got one. Hold on.
Is this going to be something offensive? Is this going to be a jazz box with a Bigsby?
This.
I,
Sorry, my headphones came off. My cable's too short. This is a surf guitar.
oh, that's not as offensive as I thought it was going to be. What is that?
This
Is that
is a Creston.
it's a Creston? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Th-
no.
this
Wiggle
is
stick, single coil pickups, and a surfy shape.
and a surfy shape. This is a
All
surf
three.
guitar.
3 for 3.
It's not a very surfy color. I don't get the bonus points, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, so what I was gonna say is like technically, your I don't know which TDC that is, um, but over your left, I think it's over your
this
left.
one.
Nope. Other. Okay. Are you? It's maybe you're mirrored. Yep. The Sunburst. It's got a
Oh
Bigsby.
yeah.
It's got two P90s.
Oh, that's a good
Could be a
point. Hold
could
on.
be a surf guitar.
let me grab those.
Making them do work. It's getting a workout over there.
This is how I make all of the surf community angry. Surf guitar.
Surf guitar. It is,
Yeah, it's got 2 out of
a
3.
surf guitar. What is that? Oh, it's got dots.
This is the
What model
Luther.
is that?
This is the Luther
Oh, that's
Dickinson
the Luther.
signature.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it. This is my for now be all end all guitar. This is it.
Yeah.
I do have one that's in the works that I will finally get to see in person in August, even though I don't get to take possession of it in August. That I'm very, 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 very excited about. I don't even know how much I can talk about it because I've been working on a project with a builder for something that I had to talk him into. That's now about to become a standard model in his line. So I'm real excited.
I don't remember how Ryan and I fell on push pulls because the Brendan Small Explorer is only single coil via push pull.
Oh no!
Uh, but I don't remember how we fell
I
on
think
that.
I say it's got to be single coil from the jump.
From the jump.
From the jump.
Because otherwise everything's a surf guitar.
Exactly. It's got to be single coil from the jump. You got to make a stand somewhere. Let me look back at comments because I've been getting up and walking around. JD, yes, those are 3 Charlie Christian pickups. It is wild. I had Creston on the podcast last season. I love that man. I love his guitars, and that one came up used, and so I bought it. And it does have a mild issue. I may get in there today. That may be what I do after this stream. I might go live stream on Instagram while I do it. It's got a grounding issue. I think the ground wire is broken on the inside. I need to figure out why it's buzzing. I need to restring it, and I need to tweak the truss rod just a little anyway. So I need to do some work on it. So I bought it used from Guitar Center, and so the setup on it was trash, which shouldn't surprise anybody who's bought anything from Guitar Center. No offense. Apparently, Guitar Center's trying to get better. I know, and I hope they do. But it was it's pretty bad, and I've got it as close to like how I like it, but I need like a quarter turn on the truss rod, and it's one of those you have to take the neck off to turn the truss rod.
Yeah.
So,
I did the whole, I talked about it on the show. I still can't believe it feels like it's been forever since I was in the Guitar Center anyway, but I went to the one in Murrieta, which is only like 8 miles from here. And I just it felt like so weird. Like I said, I in the show, like I went to the base area and it was like, maybe only like 2/3 of the racks were filled. So
oh wow,
that had a weird vibe.
That could be
Multiple.
good though. Maybe they're just selling stuff. Maybe stuff's moving. Didn't feel like that.
I didn't feel like that. The PRS, they've got these new, and now there's a new one, but the PRS SE24s, I
Oh
picked
yeah,
up one
yeah.
of those. Neck felt fantastic, but I think it's such an easy fix. And I talked about this on the show. It's
Oh
such an
yeah, the
easy fix,
knobs were jacked up.
but I turned the knob, and it was one of those things where when you get to 10, and then the knob tries to go to 11 because it's just spinning.
Yes.
And then like you catch the wire, and so it bounces back. It's like those are the kind of things that like when Ryan and I talked about really like what's the key to make Guitar Center better is like you should not have those out. Period.
Yeah.
That should be something where, and Ryan's suggestion when we talked about it on that episode is like Guitar Center should just have a rack
I love
that
this idea.
where it's like get a couple of those Hercules racks, those 5 guitar racks or whatever, that says like put break a string loose pot, whatever. Like put the guitar.
Yeah. If there's an
Guitar
issue.
needs to be tuned. Put it here, and
Oh
somebody
no, you
will.
don't do that. You'll have
Here.
every guitar in the store
Well, that's
on that
fair.
rack.
But it's like things, again, maybe it's just broken string, or like if you think something else is wrong with it, you
Yeah.
put it there, because it was just like I had really mixed feelings on that guitar anyway. It was just kind of, but I don't know how much of those mixed feelings were the guitar itself
Yeah.
versus just that one thing. I almost that one fell into the whole my kind of the complaint that so many people have about PRS, which is like it was too good.
Okay.
Like where I was like, oh yep, this is a guitar, and everything is set up perfectly, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like super flat neck, super fast neck, everything felt really. It was like actually, and I talking about this. I say Ryan hates the Strat.
Uh huh.
The reason
Is it
Ryan
because it's
hates
sunburst?
no, he hates the Strat because it's too good.
Oh.
This was mid 80s when everything coming out of the Japanese uh Fender factory that wasn't a reissue, because
Gotcha.
the Fender Japan was doing reissues. All of their standard line had the contemporary necks on them, so they're all 12-inch radius necks.
Mm.
That guitar is 12-inch radius neck, super flat frets, which is kind of interesting. Like there's small frets, so overall the thing just plays hella fast. And back when we were in
What?
bands together, yeah, the frets are like a little.
Like, okay, Steve, I need you to bring that guitar to Nam. I need to play it now.
Yeah, I thought about bringing some stuff last year, a couple things. So, um,
I fly,
but
so I can't bring anything. So
yeah, I don't. I could bring
yeah.
a. I could bring a. I mean, if we really wanted to do a whole thing, like Ryan and I could outfit it, but
No,
it's a
no.
lot of work, and there's always the whole. There's all we talked about, like we did the bass palette, the bass castle
Yeah.
thing, and it's a lot of fun. And I know people who do that, who like they go to Nam and they bring all their stuff, and I'm like,
No.
there's only like we had the one night where we were at the house,
Uh huh.
and we I think we should try to do something like that again
Oh,
this
100%.
year. Is just at
100%.
the house, figure out like who do we want, who are our friends that we want to invite. We go to
Yeah,
taco
y'all heard
shop,
it. If we don't invite you, you're not our friends.
uh, or we just didn't know you were there.
Yeah.
Um, but kind of like this idea of like we're just gonna go get like 20 burritos, 40 tacos, 5 things of carne asada fries,
We got to plan that
and we're
better,
just
though,
gonna
so
go
it
with
doesn't
that.
take us an hour and a half to get Mexican food.
Well, that's because freaking there was a hotel protest on the other side of the
that's true.
convention center.
No, I think that's a great idea. But you're right. I know where you're going. Is we only had really one night where we could have really
Yeah.
done anything, and I'd rather not. Um, uh, Clifton asking when the next NAM is happening. That is in January. It's back on its regular schedule. Schedule. But so when I first went to NAM and I was in the NAM house for 2021 Nashville,
Nashville.
I was
Yeah.
told about a rule, and I really like this rule. No amps in the NAM house.
No amps.
No amps. And the
Mm.
reason is, and it's so valid, after you've been on the floor of NAM for 8 to 10 hours,
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do is come back to the house and hear someone noodling away on a loud guitar amp. It's not that I don't love loud guitar. It's not that I don't love amps. It's not. I've had enough. I want the volume down a little bit. I don't want the cacophony of all that going on in the background. And I think everybody sort of needs that. And so it's just better to say, you know what? Um, no amps in the NAM house. If you want to bring an acoustic or an electric to strum, fine. But most people, I know I was fried by the end of it.
There's no amps in this house. There's no amps in this house. There's no amps. And yeah. Uh, I mean, I could bring the D20 and we could just, and, if someone wants to bring headphones.
Yeah, because I'm sure all of us will have headphones.
But
That's not a bad idea.
I actually really thought some. I mean, we can talk about it more later. I thought about bringing my Les Paul because I don't know if you've ever played a Studio Light. I think that would like fuck with your brain.
Yeah, I don't think so. I've played studios. I
It's
don't think I've ever played a studio
it's
light.
like a 7.5 pound Les Paul. It's the lightest guitar. I think it's the lightest guitar I own. No, the it's in a bag. I think the PV Generation I have is the lightest guitar I own.
Really? I
Yeah, it's
think
pretty light.
I have. And I know this is going to surprise all of you. I have a spreadsheet of my guitar weights. Um,
I've never recorded the weights. I'm just saying that it's the lightest based on my uh muscle memory of
yeah.
wearing it, you
No,
know.
no. I have actually weighed. Well, no, I've got a couple now because it's been a while since I updated it. I'm pretty sure I did. I sold my little Premier Multivox guitar that I had.
Hmm, hmm.
There was a rebuild and it was a short scale, so that was my lightest guitar. I sold that. Um, it helped pay for a new acoustic. But I think my lightest guitar is my Grez baritone. It's like
What is it? Cedar?
no, no, it is redwood. So
Oh, okay.
it's Honduran it's Honduran mahogany back and sides because it's one piece of wood that he then carves out the inside.
Hmm.
So it's not like sides and a back connected. It's just one piece of wood, and then the top is very thin layer, like acoustic guitar thin, almost layer of redwood that he reclaims from like buildings and bridges and stuff they're tearing down. Um, and they're so incredibly light. And I'm actually pulling up my spreadsheet right now so that I can tell you guitar weights. I need to clear a few things out of here because I don't own these anymore. Yeah, so my little short scale was 4 pounds, 12 ounces. My Harmony that I had, which I also sold, was 5 pounds, 3 ounces. And my Mendocino baritone is 5 pounds, 5 ounces. It's hella light.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it's a baritone. So it's like this long. You can't see my arms, but they're fully stretched out, you know? It's a it's just an incredible guitar. And that's just a Barry thing. Like those Mendocinos are all super light. What's my heaviest guitar? Of the things I have written down, and this does not include acoustics, by the way. Um, the Squire Paranormal Rascal bass is my heaviest guitar.
That's not at all surprising.
9 pounds, 7 ounces. My Les Paul, that's directly above my head, is the next heaviest. It is 8 pounds and 15 ounces.
Hmm, hmm.
I've got to click. Hold on. Like, I should not have opened this because now I need to delete things. Stuff I don't own anymore. Do I still? I don't own that anymore. I sold so many guitars in the last month. Um, and I'm kind of feeling good about it. I'm kind of glad I did. Yeah, like I haven't got my I haven't weighed my Gretsch Penguin yet either, so I don't know where it's going to be on this
You
list.
think it's going to be heavier or lighter?
I think it's going to be heavier. Um, I do think it's going to be heavier. Because it's heavy, man. It's real heavy. So anyway, before I continue talking about guitar weights, see, because like my ADHD is like, hey, just grab it and go weigh it real quick. I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do it. So
It's
what's
fine.
up?
I got distracted by Paul Skeen's Splinker grip.
Dude, we're not gonna turn this into a baseball podcast, I promise. But
I'm
holy
just
cow, he's good.
well, the thing that pisses me off about how good he's playing this year is that Jackson Merrill is also having an insane rookie season. He might be the best center fielder, the best rookie shortstop playing center field ever.
Yeah, that that.
He started playing center field in, I think, in the Dominican Winter League 2023.
Oh wow.
Like he's
What?
been playing center field for like 9 months.
So we talk about that, but like position changes really aren't that huge a deal in baseball. Like once you
They
understand the fundamentals, you're kind of there.
they are and they aren't. I do think the shortstop to center field transition is like probably one of the easier ones. It's not as
They're the
easy.
two most athletic players on the field
Yeah.
typically. So,
And the joke with the Padres for a few years
hmm
is they used to have a defensive alignment that they still kind of have
uh-huh.
called the all short like called the all shortstop infield. The Padres regularly put four
Oh,
shortstop on the field.
yeah. Sometimes that's basically because how athletic you need to be for that position, you're basically eliminating gaps
Yeah.
between positions because they can cover so much more ground.
Yeah. But I
Joe,
think
trust me, I already have this set up on Reverb. I get alerts. Yeah. You don't have to send them to me. I have them. It's
the fun.
depressing.
I have alerts set on reverb for big ear pedals because I'm still trying to get that. We talked about this. I'm still trying to
Yeah.
get that crank, and I've got one set up for Ronies.
Oh, I have one for Roni, and I also have one for just big ear in general. Um,
Hmm.
I went through recently and cleaned up all of my like stuff in my favorites feed. Um, I've been so close to pulling the trigger on a Wacka. Not a Wacka. I have a Wacka. The what's it called? The Shaka. The Octave
Oh yeah,
Fuzz.
yeah.
Yeah, and I just haven't been able to do it yet.
There's not one up right now. Is I'm not seeing any up right now. Is there?
Yeah, there's two. There's two. There's one in New York at Chelsea Guitars, and there's one in Canada at Palace of Cool Stuff in Calgary.
For
It's
some reason, yeah, they are.
Chaka.
Yeah, they're not. Well, I just have a feed. My feed is just a big ear. I thought so.
Oh,
Maybe they're listed as. I wonder if those are listed as something. Maybe because they're listed as Big Ear NYC instead of Big Ear.
oh yeah. So it lists this two different ways: Big Ear and Big Ear NYC.
Oh, save. Maybe I will.
Joe, if you are interested in a woodcutter and or a wacka, let me know. We might be able to trade something. I have
Yeah,
both of those things.
because there's also a red Z delay.
I saw the Z delay and I'm like, I've never seen that before.
Dude, there's
And
a. Did you say you saw this Chaka right now for $150?
yeah,
You should just. You should buy that. You should
I,
buy that right now.
I,
You're
I,
not gonna. They're rare. 150 is the right price.
I
You're not
know.
because okay. Here's the thing. Like here like uh what's the one that I have? Oh, so like the closest thing I would compare it to,
Yeah.
because I also own one, uh, is the Greer Super Hornet.
See, I'm getting a Greer Super Hornet though. That's my thing. Is like I'm buying one from
But
Rick at Honey Pigs.
but all I'm saying is like price wise, like the cheapest Greer Super Hornet on Reverb is $170. So at
I'm
150,
not paying that much.
I'm not. I'm sure. I'm just saying. I'm telling you what is available. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that you are what you aren't playing. I'm sure Rick is hooking you up. Um, I'm just saying as far as octave fuzzes go, is particularly octave fuzzes where you have though the Super Hornet does have
The stinger button.
soft the soft switch. The
Yeah.
Chaka is just the octave is on or off. Um, Also, kind of in the same sort of vein, but not exactly, is the Caroline Shigeharu, which I also don't think ever falls uh, that low.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if I could type. It
So
would really
I'm at
be
a
nice.
point now where like I'm trying not to just collect pedals to collect them, except for like
Well, that's boring.
I want to have a targeted collection, right? If I'm gonna
Yeah,
collect,
yeah.
like I've already got a couple of things. Like one, I love all of Zach's pedals over at Mythos. I'm not like intent on having like every finish and all that kind of stuff, but I want like one of almost everything he's made. Um, but like my collection is gonna be the Fuzz Face thing. but I have so many other pedals that are sitting in boxes in another room that I'm not going to put on a pedal board. I'm just holding on to it to hold on to it. And I'm trying to
Yeah.
be a little more realistic. And like the woodcutter, I'm
Hmm.
not a rat person. It's not going to go on a pedal board. Um,
Right.
or the wacka, which is just fun. And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and but I'm never going to use that. Uh, I've got some other things. Um, oh, here's an unintentional collection I started. Um, Once again, trying not to be this person, but apparently I am. So I've had this for a little while.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I
Oh.
ha- I bought
Okay.
this when
Hmm.
someone in 60 Cycle Hum group posted, or maybe they were in the Tone Mob and posted it in Tone Mob, but I think it was 60 Cycle Hum, posted that Guitar Center had this in the used section.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yeah.
bought it for a price that's embarrassingly low. Um, well, then on Guitar Center, this popped up recently. So, and I was like,
Wait, are
well,
you collecting Model Ones?
I was like, I don't have the silicon version, right? This is the germanium version.
Uh huh.
This is the silicon version. And well, then I found out, oh, well, there's two more silicon versions that are the same circuit but different art. Well, I'm like, well, damn it, if I'm only two pedals away from having the whole set. And both are on reverb right now.
I'm looking at both the black and white and the silver black. I've never seen the silver black. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
Um,
The
I
silver
thought you were
block is
gonna.
the RoboCop mod.
I thought you were gonna say that you were doing, because I thought I saw. I don't remember who it was. Who was doing this is doing the podcaster. They're, or at least they were making a joke about they wanted to get every like podcaster signature pedal.
Really?
So the
Um,
Model One, but the thing is like Blake has a handful, and there's a few that are like just kind of don't exist anymore. I've got a few floating around here.
yeah, I've got a
Uh,
couple. Hold on, I'm grabbing a couple. Um, like this one. This is the Retschel
oh, okay,
Hephaestus. Also, there's the Retschel Mythos Lark Tremolo. I've got that
right,
one.
right.
But then I think this is. I don't know how serious anybody will be about getting this one, but I think this might be the hardest one to get.
I've got one of those.
Yeah, the Whirly Bird. Yeah, the
But
Spruce Effects
also,
Whirly Bird. While Steve is grabbing that, I have, of course, the I have the Wacka. I was
I will,
talking about
I
the ones
will
y'all have
take,
done.
I will take your Worley Bird and raise you a get offset Mount Hood.
Oh, that's cool. I don't have that one.
I have that one. I've got, and I think the one show that went the craziest. I think. Uh, oh, where's that one at? I just had a, as I'm yelling into the void. Give me a second. Give me a
Yeah.
second.
Okay. I'm gonna talk about a couple of things like this. Michael, this is why being a collector is worse than being a hoarder. You're right, because hoarders just save everything. Collectors hunt things. Like you decide I am getting all of this. Um, and like it would cost me. It's just too much money. If I were willing to drop $400, I could grab the other two Model Ones, but I'm not. I'm not willing right now. Anyway, I have. I'm trying to think if I have any other. I have the Wacka. I have the 50/50. I don't know if I have any other podcaster tie-in edition pedals. What all is out there? Anybody know some that I'm not thinking of? I'm sure there's plenty. I know Blake has done several. I've never done. I feel like I'm the only podcast that hasn't done a podcast affiliated pedal. So I don't know that I want to get in on that game either because I don't want things to sit and not move. Steve, I was saying I think I'm the only podcaster that doesn't have a podcast affiliated pedal.
Well, maybe you should not
No,
get one. I
no,
don't
yeah, don't do
recommend it.
that. I don't recommend it either. It sounds
Uh,
awful.
um, but I have this one. I think this might be a one of one. Um, well, I guess not because it says it's number 33. But I think this topper, I don't know. Maybe there's
Oh,
33 of these, but it's hard to probably hard to see. This is the Flippin' Flippers Pancake Breakfast
oh,
Rare
that's cool.
Buzzer Bluefish Boost.
That
So
is cool.
it's a etched wood topper. It's got pancakes on it. Um, the Flippin' Flippers, Paul Pennington did a bunch of signature, or like they were working with spruce effects. They had
Hmm.
there's one actually on Reverb right now for $280
Oh,
of Flippin' Flippers the stack. Um, I'm trying to, and they're just selling it as like a rare finish because I think that one is like a BC 108 solid gold
okay,
BC
yeah,
108, and the solid gold, is it solid gold? Yeah, solid gold.
yeah,
Solid gold and spruce effects. There was this stretch maybe 7 years ago where they were, both of those brands were just like partnering with everyone and their
yeah,
mom, it seemed
yeah.
like.
That's what
Um,
all of mine. Oh well, between Big Ear, Solid Gold, and Mythos and Spruce, that's all of my signatures right there.
yeah.
So David Ross, yes, that pedal show has the Keeley D&M drive, which is Dan and Mick. They
Yep.
did the Jam Pedals Harmonious Monk. That was a Dan and Mick thing. They've
Oh, I didn't know
also,
that.
yeah, that Dan and Mick were the ones who pushed them to do a harmonic trim, and so that's them. I don't know if on the paperwork it says that it's like a, I don't think they get royalties off it or anything, but
Right,
that they had a
right.
big hand in that happening. They did a they did a couple of runs of uh oh, Brain, that pedal show Rattler from Jam. They did a
Hmm.
couple. They did a one of those. They did another that I can't think of, that because they did some that were like in bare metal with like um, label maker labels,
Oh, that's fun.
but I can't remember the pedal what it is. Um, I I don't remember. I'm gonna try to find it. Um,
I'm just catching up on the chat where Joe says, talking about her partner. I seriously question how he survived. Or my
oh
partner
yeah.
counts as a pet Yeti. I think I question how he survived a lot of things, how he made it to adult. I was very confused because I was reading backwards. I was like, who is she talking about?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Dane. There's the Dane from Thorpe. That's a tie-in to YouTuber podcaster kind of thing, which is Pete Honore, and it is
Oh,
the
okay.
and it's the D&M drive. They did a special edition D&M drive that had label maker labels. Um,
Gotcha.
so also, I guess you can count the Chris Buck Electric Lightning, although that feels. I know he's a YouTuber, but that feels more like an artist signature pedal.
Yeah, some of
Um,
those are like tricky. Even like Dane, is Danish Pete. I guess he lists himself as a YouTuber.
yeah, I would say he counts.
I just don't know. Like
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got, but I'm trying not to become the hoarder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
I
know
am.
there's been some pushes on Ryan to do like a signature reverb. Especially Solid Gold Effects just came out with the Surf Rider uh Shermie Surf Rider, which is
Yeah,
Shermie
yeah, yeah.
from the Surfer Jets. That renewed the conversation about like, why doesn't Ryan have one of these things? Um, but that is one of those kind of like, I think it'd have to be the right company. I think as far as compact reverbs go, while there are a lot
Yeah.
of good ones out there, like the reality is I don't think um, I don't think, like, I think if there was one, it would be a Surfy Bear, but I don't know if Surfy Bear is like really in that market to do signature pedals, especially like short run like that. And two, I don't know if there's anything in particular besides like tweaking a colorway where Ryan would be like, well, I really love the Surfy Bear large format, but I wish it had X,
See,
you know.
okay, that's
I've never had that conversation with them, so maybe.
that's gonna tie into the thing for me. What I like is when a signature pedal, whether it's with a podcaster or an artist or something, is different. It's not just a colorway of this thing, right?
Hmm.
Um, this, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Eric Johnson, for example, it's a silicon
Yeah.
fuzz face. They just use very specific silicon transistors that they target for certain sounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, and the board in here. I realize it's a tiny component
Yeah.
number of
Yeah.
components, but the construction of the board in here and the way it's mounted is way higher quality than the red fuzz face that I have.
Oh, interesting.
Because the red fuzz face, the circuit board is attached to the foot switch. It's just soldered onto the foot
Oh,
switch.
okay.
And so it's just all mounted by the foot switch. Inside here, the circuit board is actually mounted to the side and it is separate from the foot switch and everything.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
is its own thing. Or like, I love this story. This one. The Rhett Scholl Hephaestus, right?
Yeah.
This happened because when Zach ordered circuit boards for the Hephaestus for like a second run,
Hmm.
they accidentally ordered the wrong size and it didn't fit in the enclosures they had. And so
Oh.
instead of instead of just scrapping all these circuit boards, they were like, "Hey, if we put them in this size enclosure, they fit." And then Rhett was like, "I'd put my name on that," because he likes the bigger box version, and so that's what it is. It's just a
I
bigger box
have
version.
let me grab this real quick. This is a one of one.
Okay. I don't know what I would do if I did a pedal collab. I don't.
So I have this one of one. This was already a collab. It's the Pelican Noiseworks Spruce Effects
Oh yeah,
GE Pelotar. So it's got a GE circuit, I believe a GE boost
yeah,
somewhere in the circuit. It's got all these extra little knobs. S- Serial number. Oh, my camera just froze.
yeah,
This is serial number Steve.
yeah,
And the thing with this is, I got this through a Inner Circle Secret Santa from Leon
Oh, that's
from Pelican
cool.
Noiseworks, and this is a one of one. Not because he made it for me and said like, "Oh, made it for Secret Santa and slapped your name on it." This was made with spare parts. So this is an out of tolerance GE Pelotar.
Yeah, it's just
So
what he had around.
I've never compared it to any other ones, but it is like it's a one of one in that sense that like it's actually all components that don't meet the spec. Now I remember him telling me that in his opinion it's actually like better than what he was manufacturing
Yeah,
at the time. It's just that I
but that
think,
was a dice roll.
again, from memory, I think what it may have come down to is that um it's about consistency, and so
Yeah,
like basically it is kind of a dice roll that everything just happened to be out of tolerance, I guess, in the right ways.
yeah,
um and there's that element of like, well, if that spec doesn't isn't actually a part that you can buy. So say, uh, you have a 10, I don't know, like I'm just gonna like talk out of my ass, but like, you got a 470 ohm resistor, and you've got a couple that are 480, and you can't buy a 480, but you can have out of tolerance 470s that are actually measuring 480s.
yeah.
I think it was like kind of, and it's probably more of a diff more than a it's more than a that's like a fractional difference. It's
Yeah.
probably more like, they're measuring 530 when they're supposed to be 470, but you also can't buy a 530. That kind of a deal,
Yeah. So
right?
so question, as we're getting close to our 2 hour mark that we shoot for. Um, if you did a collab pedal for you, what would it be? Because I just thought
Oh
of what mine
man,
would be. I know what mine would be.
I don't know. Um, I feel like the thing that I wanted was already made because a lot of people wanted it,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the Caroline Megabyte, which was just the tap tempo, kind of a tap tempo version of the kilobyte.
Yeah.
Um, I don't I don't know because I just don't. I feel like the things that I want exist.
Yeah,
um,
so that's where I was for a lot of it. I was like, I don't know, like fuzz. It feels like the natural instinct for me, but like every fuzz I've ever wanted already exists.
yeah, going back to this pedal,
Yeah.
we were talking about it a way earlier. I think the way I have this configured right now, because when I bought this, it came with one or two other op amps. So it came with the default, like, this is again 2003, whatever, 2002, 2003, 2004. Like there was a
Hmm.
lot of hype around getting, original JRC 4558, not whatever they had
Yeah.
that Ibanez had switched to at that time, but you had to go back to, you had to get those 4558s or it wasn't good. But um, included in this was a Burr Brown. I forget what the part number is, but it's a Burr Brown op amp that raises the headroom. I suspect, and I would be interested in playing this one by one or up against one another, this pedal versus the other one. And I just haven't done it because everything back here is a nightmare. Um, but I suspect that's what's going on the Stevis and Burkhead, actually.
Oh.
The Burr Brown op amp.
Uh huh.
Let me see if I can find it. Burr Brown Tube Screamer. Googling. Um, let's look at DIY stomp boxes and what everyone's calling it. Photo Burr. There's only one reference. Then they just call it like, oh, Burr Brown. And the problem is they don't really, people don't really necessarily. Oh, OPA 2134 I think is the part. Um,
Gotcha. Okay.
oh, it's supposedly it's a higher headroom.
Right.
I kind of feel like with that higher headroom, it also has less of a mid emphasis, so it's a little more like I don't know what to compare it to, um, but I think it's a higher headroom. It's a little less mid um, focused, um, and so I think that's what's going on there. But I would also say that's what I think uh, is going on with the Stevenson Burkhead, because the Stevenson Burkhead doesn't feel quite like a tube screamer to
Yeah,
me.
it didn't.
It
No, it
feels
didn't.
like tube screamer again with a little less of a mid.
It
So
it feels the Stevenson Burkhead felt more like plumes than it does a tube screamer.
I've never played a Plumes.
Plumes,
For
plumes.
$100, you think I should?
You should. It doesn't feel like a tube screamer. Everybody's like, oh, finally a tube screamer I like. It's because it doesn't sound like a tube screamer.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Amanda said she's just jumped over to this chat, but I
I,
don't know
I'm
what.
I'm assuming
Is
she
that
jumped
your
over to,
chat?
yeah, she must have jumped over to my channel.
Yeah.
So Joe, I agree with this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And I if I had a pedal, and maybe I'm just gonna design it. I've got some stuff coming from I am got some stuff coming from Copper Sound to one of their big breadboards, and Alex like put together a grab bag of parts for me so that I can start tinkering with stuff. And but if I were to have a collab pedal, this is what I want. I want a dual pedal and both sides are tremolo.
Hmm.
I want, and it can be switchable. It can be it can be, bias, optical, or harmonic trim on both sides. But I want a switch or a setting where you can tie them to the same uh, rate, but at different intervals. Like one's a quarter and one is
Hmm.
like a dotted eighth, and have them play against each other in that almost
Oh,
polyrhythmic
okay.
setting. So that's what I want. I want a dual tremolo where I can do that and set them like shared rate, and then they can both be set to different ratios of that rate. That would be my pedal. Somebody build that.
I'm sure some, you know, I'm sure it could be done.
Yeah, absolutely, it can be done. I have talked to a couple of builders about it, and they're like, "Well, yeah, you're going to have to use digital controls to make that work.
Hmm.
They can be analog pedals. The circuit can be analog, but the
Right.
control is going to need to be digital." So,
Yeah.
anyway,
So
Steve,
you need you're gonna have Chase Bliss build it. Digital brain,
no,
analog heart.
they're not the only people doing that, though they are doing it
I
very,
know.
very
I
well.
know.
They do it very well. Well, I think that is our time, Steve.
Is it? Is it
Yeah,
that time?
two
Started.
hours.
See, I don't have the clock on my
Oh,
end, so
yeah,
I
I've got
don't
the
know when we
timer. We're at
started.
exactly 2 hours and
All
50
right.
seconds. Any closing thoughts?
No, no, this was good as usual, I think.
Yeah, it was fun.
Little lower turnout, but that's okay. You know, it's
It's
the
summer.
summer.
It's summer.
People are doing their thing.
I know a lot of people out on the lake today, so
I should have probably pushed my post that we were going live last night instead of 45 minutes
yeah,
ahead, but you
I
know,
should
whatever, it
I should have
happens.
done that too. But next time we'll do better.
And yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. Good to see a lot of the regs in there, and also
Yeah.
some folks that I've not seen before. And now I'm doing the thing where I have YouTube open here and the actual thing over
Uh
here,
huh.
and I'm getting distracted. Um, I think maybe I don't know if I'm going to do it, but probably should find some time to just try to do like a big group hang again,
Yes.
whether that's like an invite thing or we just throw the link up in the chat. Um,
Let's plan a
but
Friday. Just beer and hang. We should do that. I almost,
Friday, I don't
I
know about
almost. Oh,
Fridays,
come on.
but
That's the day. Isn't that when y'all usually did it?
I'm usually well. That's when Ryan usually does it.
Oh.
I'm in the office on Fridays, so
Oh,
I
I
don't
gotcha,
get home
gotcha.
until pretty late.
Yeah, I dig it.
But well, you know, something will work. Something will
Yeah,
work out.
sounds good.
Do a Saturday morning, Saturday night. Do a Saturday
Yeah.
Night Live. Nobody's
No,
nobody's copyrighted the name Saturday Night Live. It's totally unobvious.
surely not. Surely not. You can totally use that. No one will. No strikes whatsoever at all on YouTube for that.
Yeah, Michael, I am very well aware that how long it's been since a live stream. I think the last live stream was actually the 500th episode.
Oh wow.
But I could be. Um, you know what? Let
I
me look
I think
because
that
I'm
was.
uh, yep. The no, it was the Chris. It was actually after we did one during Christmas break.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that was like,
Saturday morning cartoon and beer. Let's do it.
oh, I had this. I'm so bummed I didn't get it put together to do it. I really wanted to because Euro Cup was being like you could watch Euro Cup live at least some of the matches.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
really and maybe if throw this out there if anyone else has some ideas for like goofy sporting events to do this with, but I really wanted to do a just a live stream of like watching. Like you can't stream the match, but it would just be like, here's the link. If you have it, you know, go watch. Go, you know, it would have been fun to do during last week, like the England Spain. Like everyone go watch it here, and I'll just have it on a side window,
Uh
and all the stream is like taking whatever's going on at the chat and also just reacting to Euro,
huh.
but I think it's more interesting to do with like Euro Cup, things like Euro Cup. As an I'd say as an American, non, I'm I am familiar enough soccer slash football that I'm not like a total idiot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but something like that. Um, but I'm also like not familiar with anyone besides like I couldn't tell you a single player on the English side.
No, me either. I
And
can't. I can't tell you a single soccer player who isn't on the U.S. women's team or is Messi.
isn't there a guy named Harry? Is
I don't.
is
I don't
Harry
know.
England?
I literally just said.
No, I know, I know.
I
I
just told you
know.
all the soccer players I can name.
Let's see lineups. I know Ronaldo's on Spain. I
Uh
think
huh.
is he?
Oh
No,
yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo. I do know that name.
is he on Spain?
I don't
No,
know who
he's
he
not.
is. Oh man,
I'm
Michael
looking, I'm looking
Krause.
at the lineup.
We should do a cricket match.
Yeah, no, that would work. Yeah,
No idea.
Harry Kane is who I'm thinking
Okay.
of. Um, Ronaldo plays for Portugal, I think. So
I
Spain, yeah, Ronaldo's Portuguese.
okay.
Coyote Stargas, Portugal. So I literally don't know anybody on the Spanish team.
Yeah, me either.
So that would have been, I think that's why it would have been amusing. I think that's why it would
Steve,
have been
we
part
should
of what
start a
made it
whole other channel that's nothing but us live reacting to sports we don't understand.
yeah. Yeah. I don't understand. Like I watched this thing the other day
uh,
that was a British. It was like British national cricket or something, where um, I guess what it is like when you swing, if you swing and miss, but the bowler doesn't hit the
the wickets.
wickets, then the catcher can get the ball and try to knock down the wickets. And if he knocks down the wickets before you get back, because a lot of the swings in cricket are kind of this like half running swing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
They
guess
get
like if
because
you
it's not all.
miss,
There aren't any home runs that I'm aware
yeah,
of.
so it's like if you miss and then you don't get back in the box before the catcher can knock down a peg, then you're out. Something like that. Okay, Amanda knows why I'm confused. It's because
He did play for
Ronaldo played
Spain.
for well, he played it for Real Madrid, which is a
Oh,
club,
gotcha.
not for Spain. Um, but yeah, anyway. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, yep. No, we're
Wait,
gonna get off before this happens.
we don't want to talk about this?
No, we do
Okay,
not want to talk
no.
about
All
that.
right, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about
Fascinating.
that. It is
All
fast.
right, my wife just messaged me, so
Yeah, yeah. No, I got the notification about 4 minutes ago. So we're gonna go, and
all right,
I'm
guys,
gonna
have a
go
good
doom
day.
spiral. Say the word, Steve.
Stay grounded.
Be good to yourselves. Be kind to each other, and make some noise.